Thank you all for joining us today. Welcome to the 2016 Intelligent Assistance Conference, Intelligent Authentication Conference. My name is Derek Topp. I am the Director of Research with Opus Research, and along with Dan Miller, Lead Analyst and Founder, and Pete Hedrick out on the outside, and Amy Stapleton, who's also with us. We put together this conference program for you guys, so really appreciate you joining us for this event. We haven't been in San Francisco for a couple of years, and so we're excited to be doing this once again. I'm going to run through a couple of housekeeping items first for everyone, then introduce Dan, who will go through some of our content and what we're expecting for the 2 days while we're here, and then we'll go to the keynote speaker. So you'll notice that this is the Twin Peaks room, so this is where we're hosting all Intelligent Assistant conference sessions and what we call plenary sessions, which this is one of them. For the Intelligent Authentication Conference, which we'll split at 3 o'clock to do that. It starts in the Seacliff room. To note, we do have a change in one of our scheduled conference sessions today. Unfortunately, Godfried Powell from Samsung was unable to be here for the event. He had some working for some customer care issues at Samsung for this week and was unable to make it. So if there was ever a legitimate excuse for not to be here, that's one of them. So he's there doing some damage control, yes. I mean, that's not the right word. But hopefully, if people did bring Samsung phones, they were able to take them on their plane and came here with them. So he won't be here, but fortunately, we have Flamingo and Nationwide who will be presenting a case study in that time slot. So at 3:45 to 4:15 today, we'll be going through that. And then how that affects tomorrow's schedule is that we kind of extend some of the panels in the morning. So anyway, it's a great program. Again, really appreciate everyone being here, and hope you are happy with that. So, and as you notice, all the sponsor booths and breaks will be held out in the Sunset Court, which is where you came in. We do have lunch tomorrow, so please be there for that. The Wi-Fi, as people are asking, it's Palace Meeting Rooms with the password being Flamingo, who is provided that for us, which is very nice. In addition, there's just all of our sponsors we're very, very grateful for, and the help that they're providing in this event is very, very helpful. So, and I hope you get a chance to interact and meet with them as your time allows. So I'll just start out now as far as, again, why we're here, and then I'll let Dan go into deeper details about our coverage areas of what we do at Opus Research, and why we think intelligent assistance is such an important topic now. As mentioned, we did host our first Intelligent Assistance Conference 2 years ago in San Francisco. We're noticing the collection of technologies around self-service, automated self-service, and human-assisted self-service, how that was affecting customer care and customer experience. We developed this particular, and I'll leave it here, this particular landscape to really collect the companies who are doing a lot of the work from a user experience standpoint, user input, to the back-end technologies that are included in this, including deep learning, machine learning, natural language understanding, speech analytics, knowledge management. And then the bottom layer of this is looking at the applications and the use cases for intelligent assistance. We see, obviously, the use of intelligent assistance growing immensely through the work done with mobile apps, digital commerce, and chatbots, or bots, as we say. So I'm going to hand it over to Dan Miller, who will take you a little more through this, and then also talk about where we see this going.
Thank you, Derek. And in the interest of time, we won't go deeply into this. Just to mention that this has been a conversation starter. We know that different vendors and different companies that are implementing find the framework useful both from the point of view of the technologies in play and the core applications around both mobile personal assistance for taking control of devices and services, and that we see an evolution from assistant to advisor and on beyond that, and that as we go through the next day and a half, it will be helpful. And I should thank Nicholas Dekushkovsky for helping us organize these graphics so elegantly. But the framework for the next day and a half is to sort of think about the snapshot of our own understanding of the state of the market, the state of the technologies, and the state of implementations today, and a framing of where we think it's going in the next 18 months to 2 years, with an idea of where we end up maybe in the year 2025-ish. So that's what we're sort of talking about in terms of what we're moving towards. And the reason we've co-located the Intelligent Authentication Conference with the Intelligent Assistance Conference is that we firmly believe that somehow authentication has to be made seamless within the context of taking control of our digital lives. And that means that we should be thinking about how we make things context-aware without spying on people, how we keep things device agnostic or independent to the point where, perhaps right now I sort of think my assistant resides on my phone, but as we cruise around, move from online to offline activities and vice versa, we do it independent of the devices we're using. It may be controversial, but we initially framed our coverage around something called conversational commerce under the belief that these relationships with the businesses and individuals we carry out business with is a form of conversation, and that's an important thing to understand, and that requires secure, trusted communications links. But one of the issues that will come up in the next day and a half has to do with the fact that technologies that we think are largely around security and establishing trusted links are equally appropriate for establishing personalized services and individualized services for those of us that are using them all the time. So what we're here to talk about is how we bridge, I call it the chasm. I hope I don't offend Jeffrey Moore or anything like that. But there's quite a few chasms out there. There's a chasm between our concept of what a bot is and what Opus has been using the term of our intelligent assistance around. And there's also a chasm around sort of the dev world or the dev nation or the community of creative individuals who are building apps, building assistants, and longstanding customer care-oriented people, because there's a lot of investment in both contact centers, in IVRs, in a bunch of things that have been assistance to individuals as they carry out business with individual enterprises. And it occurred to me a while ago that sometimes these communities just don't talk to one another, and this is a venue where we want to encourage conversations between those two communities. And as I was saying, it's to define the future and perhaps emerge from here with a shared view of where things are going, what's possible now, what's reasonably possible in our planning cycles, and then where we're headed in the future. So let's kick this thing off. I want this to be an this is a nice sized room. Feel free when people, after people, at the Q&A period, do indeed ask questions, talk to one another, tweet liberally. Our hashtag is IAConf. So it's easy to remember. And then let's all stay in touch as both of these disciplines evolve. And so at this point, I'd like to introduce Lawrence Flynn as our first keynoter from Artificial Solutions in England.